got to come over more often.
She don't come over here no
I
more.
know.
Yeah, I don't have a
Oh,
hold
man.
on even though it said it was doing a hold, I don't have one, so.
What'd you think of that last round of emails about parking?
I haven't seen, yeah, I think, I did actually ask my office mate about that bus stop, because that's the one that she uses, because she lives on Laurel Hill, and she agrees that it's kind of problematic that the bus can't get in there. So, I mean, but it sounds like maybe it would take more than one spot.
Based on that last graphic.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, I talked to Sway about this maybe yesterday, but that area does have a lot of parking, like on Laurel Hill Road, that area. I mean, I have friends over there. I go there not infrequently, and I feel like there's never a dearth of street parking in that area.
Yeah, I've never had a problem either. And
Recording in progress.
Okay, good evening, everybody. This is a Greenbelt City Council work session. My name's Emmett Jordan. I serve as mayor. Council members, can you introduce yourselves, please?
Kristen Weaver, Mayor Pro Tem.
Jenny Pompey, council member.
Danielle McKinney, council member.
Frankie Fritz, council member.
Okay, and Councilmember Pope is on travel and will not be joining us this evening. So before we get started, are there any information items to be shared at the end of the meeting before we go into executive session? Mr. Samaron?
I do not have any.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, let me just say this. Council holds work sessions on Mondays and Wednesdays several times a month to exchange information with community stakeholders and to gather input from staff, from advisory boards and residents. No votes or formal actions are taken during our work sessions. Tonight's session is open to the public, as are all council meetings, except for executive sessions as authorized by state law. So residents can observe our deliberations, and we're going to pause periodically to take public comment. If you wish to speak during these times, if you're in the room, just raise your hand. After being recognized, you can go over to the podium. You'll need to state your name and provide an address for the record. If you are on Zoom, you can use the Q&A tab on the bottom of your screen to submit a written question, or once again, we can promote you so that you can speak, but you'll need to give us a name and an address. We don't accept anonymous comments online. And finally, if you're watching on cable TV or Zoom or YouTube or Facebook, just send us an email. The email address is questions@greenbeltmd.gov. So with public comment, when we pause, limit your remarks to 3 minutes and address only the topic under consideration. And as always, we ask that you remain civil and avoid disparaging others or questioning their motives. So tonight is a very special work session. We are actually, it's one of our quarterly updates from the city manager, highlighting achievements of various departments. And tonight we're going to be hearing from Greenbelt Cares and the Department of Planning and Community Development. So, Mr. Samaran, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Good evening, residents. I'm excited to be joined by the team tonight, Mr. Mayor. I've got Deputy Clerk Ms. Shania Lashy-Mullen. We're joined by our Acting Director for Planning and Community Development, Ms. Jamie Fear, and I'll let Jamie introduce the team. And later we'll be joined by Dr. Liz Parks, who's the Director of CARES, and Crystal Beatty, Assistant Director. So we're really excited to showcase these two departments. And I really appreciate this new format because we get an opportunity to do a deeper dive with each department. And we like to showcase all the wonderful things that we do for our residents and beyond. So thank you for the opportunity to join you tonight. We have included the MBO report in the packet. I will take the next 15 minutes to do highlights from my office and select offices, and then we'll have Ms. Fear and Dr. Parks do a deeper dive of their respective departments.
Well, thank you very much.
And feel free to interrupt me at any point. All right, we'll start off with the budget. We're excited to receive the Certificate for Achievement and Excellence in Financial Reporting for fiscal year 2025. So that emphasizes or highlights the due diligence that our team takes to ensure proper reporting, not just good reporting, but reporting that is informative to the auditors and the public on all of our financial activities. We had a strong financial performance and execution of the 2026 budget. As you know, that ended June 30th in accomplishing our goals in MBOs. And we also presented a balanced budget for 2027. That seems to get harder to do every year with the increasing cost to deliver services. But we were successful again this year in presenting a balanced budget. And that resulted in closing a little over $3 million budget deficit, and we're able to do that with minimal disruption for services. We're also excited to have onboarded our new economic development manager and started the implementation of our strategic plan, our economic development strategic plan. And we're really excited to see you all attend the Small Business Expo. It's the first of its kind to highlight the small businesses of Greenbelt, and we want to attract more customers for them, get their names out there, and get them more business. This year and quarter, we also implemented the Save As You Throw program. We've done a mid-year check-in and review the financials. I received some feedback from our local stores on the availability of the bags and other concerns they have, and we look to make incremental improvements to the program. We've advanced key EV charging station infrastructure. We're excited to have completed the 8 stations at the community center library. Those are 8 level 2 charging stations. They're a little faster than the ones here at the municipal building. Those charge at over 8 kWs, 8 kilowatt speeds, and those are available to the public. So really excited to be future-proofing our community. We have more EV charging station plans, projects in the works. Mr. Mayor, did you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Continue, please.
Thank you. We're also excited to have exceeded the grant funding goal. We have secured approximately $5.8 million for city priorities. That's more than the established goal that we set for ourselves. So we're really excited to have secure grant funding to support the numerous capital projects that we simply don't have money for, projects that have stalled or have been waiting for funding for a long time. Just to highlight a few of those, that includes the museum. We're at risk of losing grant funding for the museum, but we're able to secure enough money to move that project forward. So we'll start demolition and construction later this year. We also have the Spring Hill Lake expansion. That's a project that's been in work for over 20 years. So we're able to secure $250,000 from the federal government through the federal earmarks program, and have tentative approval through the program open space funding, and we're working on our application to submit that later in the fall. And with council's support and approval, we did submit our annual program open space project, which Ms. Fear will talk about that in her presentation, or not, but it's in. We continue working on the recodification of the city code. We've done the legal review. We sent some additional amendments that includes the zoning code integration language. We were informed by the MuniCode team just recently that we expect the final draft to us in September, and we'll plan to present that to council sometime in September. The Pepco streetlight projects, it's ongoing. Nothing new there to you, as you all have been dealing with it for much longer than I have. But new to report in this quarter is that we have secured over $87,000 in billing credits because we were overbilled for more than 3 years. So we'll get that $87,000 credit to our account, plus additional credits from the moment that we accepted the credit, which is almost a year ago.
Yeah, that's a big deal. We would just having a good inventory of the lights and actually negotiating that as a credit with Pepco is something that should help with our underlying budget quite a bit, that particular line item. So.
Yes, the credit is going to go directly to our electricity account. This January, electricity rates increased, so we saw almost, I think it was about a 3-cent increase from our previous negotiated contract, and we did not budget for those significant increases. But I'm hopeful that later in the year we'll be able to secure another energy contract. The market has been, there's been a lot of fluctuation in energy prices, primarily due to the conflict in the Middle East. So securing an energy contract at this time has not been economically feasible. So we're waiting for things to smooth out or level out to find some more stability in energy prices. All right, so continuing, we have strengthened our constituent service engagement and service coordination through a centralized tracking system, expanded community events in coordination with both departments and external stakeholders. That has resulted, for example, in numerous community engagement and resource events that we've held recently. Those include the Fresh Start Fair, where we serve over 120 residents, the second annual Touch a Truck event, which most of you were there. We had over 500 community members in attendance. We also support food and diaper distribution. We held the Let's Talk Cell Phone Coverage Town Hall that was well attended, and numerous community resource events. And the website continues to be a work in progress. We regularly update material and files and information to ensure our residents are getting the information they need. I would just like to highlight our work with the WSSC water tower. We had to intervene to receive timely updates from the team, and we have uploaded those reports to our website, along with the fire department communication. And fire department update is on the next slide. We have continued to advocate for the return of full staffing at the fire station. Just 2 weeks ago, we did a walkthrough of the Greenbelt Fire Station in preparation for return of career firefighters. So we expect to have some staffing August and September. And we have been promised committed firefighters for August and September. We just don't know how many. We could be looking at a daytime shift, and daytime shift will be from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., or ideally we would like a 24-hour staffing model like we previously had. Just as a reminder, what we have now is a paramedic unit 24/7 and a peak ambulance that operates from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. The improvements I would expect will be the peak ambulance there 24/7 and a fire suppression team at minimum day staff, preferably 24 hours, 7 days a week like we previously had. We're excited to have completed the annexation of Bark Properties and NASA parcel. We had internal celebration, if you will. We're excited to get that completed, and that's all gone through. We continue to work on additional annexations. Council has introduced for first reading the annexation of Lanham Boys Club. That's just at the border of Greenbelt. ARPA, as you know, this is the last, the next 6 months are the last months to spend all of our ARPA dollars, so we're working on closing out the projects. Those that have been completed, we're closing out the paperwork to make sure that we have all the proper documentation for when we get audit. As a reminder, I share with the team, as I share with council, is not whether we will get audit or not. We're planning on getting audit, so that we're treating the work as such so that we have every possible document that auditors could require. Talking about auditing, we did kick off the audit for fiscal year 2026 in this quarter, and council should have received a letter from me announcing that audit, and you will be hearing from the auditors regarding disclosure documents that you need to provide. Major projects ahead of us this year, again, is the museum, the Braden Fields. We have over $1 million for additional work at Braden Fields. Buddy Attic Park, we received a state bond bill for the pavilion and the Spring Hill Lake expansion. Other projects that we continue to push forward is the sidewalks and road resurfacing. We started that work July 1. The curbs and some of the sidewalk repairs have already taken place at Hanover, but that work still remains to do full resurfacing. And that's, do you have any questions so far? Okay, I'll have 5 more minutes on my schedule. I'll jump in with some additional accomplishments.
Actually, I do have a question or a thought. You know, we've done such a fantastic job with the tranche of money, the $22 million from ARPA. So we're at the very tail end of that. And I'm just wondering if we can, at some point, get like a short list of what's left. And just, I was looking at the website. It looks like the website and the spreadsheet have been maintained. So is that correct? Is everything up to date?
There's some projects on there that are not up to date. We did discover some some underspending in some areas, and we had the conversation with CARES about how to make use of the remaining over $200,000 that we have funding for. So if you recalled with council, we discussed having the CIT position be split with CARES and police department. So for the remainder of the year, we've moved that CIT position to be full-time CIT. So we'll have an assistant or a second person assisting Rachel at the police department. So we're using ARPA money for that. So those are types of internal adjustments we've made with the money that we have. We also have added, I believe, Crystal maybe help me out, we added $15,000 to food programmings for Capital Area Food Bank. Yes. So we added additional money. We ran out of grant dollars from Capital Area Food Bank that's supporting the Spring Hill Lake Recreation Center food distribution. So we ran out of that money. We added the additional $15,000 to support that program through the remainder of the year. So those are adjustments we've done with as we find money.
Sure, there's a few others, but I think we can be really, really proud of the way that council and our residents and staff all work together to figure out what would be the best use of funds in order to actually bounce back from COVID and bounce back better.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes, and we do have some limitations. We cannot change the projects. We have some flexibility of moving some money within the allocated projects that we have, but we cannot create new projects. So we're trying to adhere to the strict following of the rules. We have to, right? So things like the food distribution, that's something that's clearly an allowable expense under ARPA restricted funds. It was a project that we had included in our list. We have numerous food distribution sites. So moving money from one site to another site is permissible because they all fall under the same food distribution buckets. But we could not start new projects. In funding enhancements to other projects, it's a little tricky. So
I don't want to dwell on it for too long, but I just want to highlight it. It'd be nice to kind of see what's left, and just more importantly, being able to tell the story of how we use this funding in such an effective way. It makes a good case for additional direct funding from the federal government. Knock on wood.
it will be nice to get another pot of money like that. I don't know that it will happen in my lifetime. But I work with Tim, Mr. Tim George, to update our ARPA reporting. We do file reports quarterly, and they're very comprehensive. So we could share those reports with council. They're quite lengthy, but that's a comprehensive listing of all the projects, what we spent to date, and what's remaining to be spent on the projects. All right, on to Public Works accomplishments. The team were just rock stars at implementing the Save As You Throw program. So I want to thank the team for that. Also completing the structural remediation of the indoor pool, the community center chiller and boiler replacement project. So the community center now has a working AC. There's still some fan issues here and there to work through, but we got heating and cooling. A ton of roadwork projects. Then we had some community engagement activities that included the Take Your Kid to Work Day. So Public Works set up a nice little Public Works fair in the parking lot for all the children that participate in the Take Your Child to Work Day. So it was really nice. We had Arbor Day where we gave over 138 trees. We had Earth Day with included 45 volunteers that worked to remove invasive species and installed over 40 native shrubs and removed over 200 pounds of litter in Greenbelt Lake. Numerous projects. Moving on to human resources, a lot of trainings that were led by the human resources team. An item that was very successful was comprehensive workplace safety initiatives, including the strategic policy moderation. As you know, workers' comp expenses were rising, and it was a big burden on our budget. But we went out to market again this year with not very high expectation, but to our surprise, we had vendors actually submit bids and were competitive bids. So we have changed from Key Risk to Chesapeake Workers' Compensation Insurance. So that's going to yield significant savings in our budget. We also had the annual City Health Fair serving over 100 employees that attended to learn about benefits and services that we offer. And we've had our financial wellness and education sessions. We've had over 35 employees participate in those sessions. Some of those employees have been informed that they had enough savings to retire, and I've raised a concern to the financial advisors that to give us the heads up if they're telling people that they can retire, because some have taken those words to heart. On finances, again, the accomplishment here is the receiving of the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting. You know, that is the gold standard for financial reporting. For budget preparation is the Budget Presentation Award, which we also get that award, and we're actively working on that submission. Actually, I'm sorry, we've submitted that report. We have started working with the auditors for the fiscal year 2026 audit and the federal A1 single audit. I'll jump into some IT-related activities. We have a ton of accomplishments, but on the IT front, we have switched over from the Office 2019 platform to O365 licenses. So a lot of our licensing is online or a subscription-based model rather than a desktop or on-premise services. So that helps improve collaboration. We also switched over to T-Mobile for all of our administrative phones and vehicles. So that's not only improving connectivity for the police vehicles, but also generating savings across the board. Our IT team also assists with the Senior Tech Cafe session. So in addition to supporting staff, they're having sessions supporting the residents, particularly older residents with IT issues. And just this month, after numerous weeks of preparation, our GIS champion, who's not in the room today, that's Kevin Driscoll Carpenter, we've launched the GeoTab system, which is the vehicle telematics system where we can track information for all of our vehicles, maintenance issues, all the things that we need to properly schedule routine maintenance for our vehicles.
And show where our snowplows are eventually.
Yes, the plan is that in next winter storm, we'll be able to track our snowplows in real time. And so residents will be able to see whether a plow is on their road or has completed their road. I'm being mindful of time, Mr. Mayor. Do you have any questions?
Council, do you have questions? Councilmember McKinney and Fritz?
No.
Do you have any
No,
thoughts?
thank you.
I know you have thoughts, but any questions about the presentation so far?
No, none for me at this time. Thank you.
Excellent, okay.
All right, I'll close out with the police department. We implemented the automated stop sign enforcement program. So that ran in the pilot phase in April, formally launched collecting fees in May and June. So that's a major undertaking. We're also fully staffed for the police department, a fully staffed dispatch center. And I'm excited to report that every command staff, all senior staff of the police department have executive training.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem?
One small thing related to that, just because I know the first month we had a lot of tickets. I think it might be nice in a couple of months to get sort of a 3 or 4 month summary about how many, and looking at, I think what we're hoping is those tickets will go down because people will actually be stopping at the stop signs. But it'd be nice to get a sense of the data.
Yes, I think what's a good one thing we can issue. We get data reports every month. I'm wondering what's a good length of time to be able to see that trend. I think 3 months.
Yeah, I think
Would be
I
good.
think we need at least 3 months. I think 3 or 4 months before you're not going to see any sort of trend.
We have been informed by the vendor that we would see upwards of 60% reduction in citations and increase in compliance in the 9-month period. So 9 month, we will have a fraction of the infractions that we have now.
Which is good.
Yes, yes, this program is implemented for, as a public safety program, and I hear from residents and I read on social media that many of the pedestrians appreciate having vehicles stop at these critical intersections, so. Mhm.
Will we have the option at some point at a year to actually adjust any of the locations or reassess, as the citations moderate the number? Are there plans to kind of check in and just assess how the program is going with the vendor and make adjustments?
Yes, we structure the contract that we can remove locations and move locations with minimal expense. There are we have received requests from residents to have stop signs, cameras at different locations, but we're limited by the school zones. So where they are located now, that's the limitations that we have. We can place them only in within the half a mile of the school zones. So I get the citizens' concern that there's some would like to see them in very specific locations, but we'll be limited to what's around the school zones. And we currently have 6 sites. So we're about max capacity. We can have different angles, but the cameras were placed based on the traffic analysis of where the infractions were occurring.
So moving forward and looking at the data, if any adjustments need to be made with sight lines or locations, we can certainly do that.
Or removal of cameras. Mhm.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, we'll now transition to planning community development. Jamie, take it away.
All right, thank you. Good evening. I just saw you on Monday, but I'm here. I'm back again. And I am joined this evening by part of our team. I will also go over the rest of our team, but to my left is Ryan Sigworth, Community Planner 2, so he's on the planning side. We have Assistant Director Gilberto Cabrera. I wanted to say it correctly. And Inspector Michael Day with us tonight. So we will all be presenting a little bit about what we're doing, and we'll welcome questions. I don't know if you want to do those while we're going or if you want to hold them, but I can get started. So next slide and next slide. This is actually an old picture. I didn't have a newer picture of the current group, so we do have our recently retired director, Terry Ruby, in this picture, and I did not Photoshop Ryan's head sort of floating in the back, although it was proposed when we went over it today, but this is almost all the team.
Actually, I think it was proposed to put my face on Terry's
Or on Terry's body, but that seemed very
but
awkward.
We decided not to go that direction.
So we did, yeah, we didn't do that.
Probably just as well.
Yes. And so the Department of Planning and Community Development preserves and protects the health, safety, welfare, and integrity upon which Greenbelt was founded. And we accomplish this through thoughtful planning, the guidance of growth and change, the enforcement of city codes, in all of our daily interactions and work here in the city. Next slide, please. So I think we have some general overarching, I guess these are not goals, but sort of aspirations that all of our tasks, no matter which side of the department we're on, serve the needs of the public with professionalism, integrity, and courtesy, that we are fair, consistent, and effective in taking enforcement actions, and that enforcement tools are not just for enforcement. They're for the purpose of attaining compliance, and most often that is with the goal of safety in mind. We plan and serve all residents of the city, plan for and serve all residents of the city, present and future, and we want to see Greenbelt continue to be a well-planned place to live, work, attend school, and recreate. And finally, respect the opinions of everyone. So next slide. So this is our current staff. And as you can see, we've got one vacancy in our supervisory inspector position that I know has come up previously. So again, I'm currently the acting director. Gil is the assistant director. We're trying on a different approach in the naming convention of what's going on over there. So we're calling it this evening Code Compliance and Permitting. The assistant director of planning, that's also me. So we are short a planner as well right now. And we have Ryan in the community planner 2 position. We have 2 administrative assistants. We have Mildred DeBoard and Talia Hewan. Hewan. Did I say that right? Hewan. I'm so sorry, Talia. I just call her Talia every day. And we have 3 community development inspectors, Inspector Michael Day, Inspector Anthony Crump, and Inspector Charles Redding. We are a small and very mighty team, and you'll see that we accomplish quite a bit. So we'll start with planning so that I can not talk for the whole time. And as we were discussing ARPA, that has been a big part of our workload for the past couple of years. One of the 3 main projects has been the ARPA Pedestrian and Bicyclist Master Plan. And so over the last year or so, we have completed the traffic calming study for Greenbelt Center City. We are now in the process of implementing parts of that project, although we do need funding to implement larger parts of that project. But it can be implemented in phases. That was the really nice thing. There are short-term and long-term implementation schemes within that plan, and different sections can be handled at different times. We also just got our 100% design and engineering plans for the Hanover Parkway sidewalk gap. We do not have funding to move forward to complete that gap. We may look at it as a part of our Hanover Parkway Shared Use Path project, which Ryan will talk about a little later. But you will notice a new segment of sidewalk that was just put in along this sidewalk gap, and that is something that Public Works decided to do as a part of the Hanover pavement project right now, and it's great. So it's actually half of it. It's not to these specs, but it is a great sort of temporary to midterm improvement so that folks do have sidewalk to help them get back and forth on one side of the road now to the bus stop. On the other side of the road, they completed the sidewalk segment that at least took them to the shoulder where folks have been walking rather than having walked through the grass. We had a contractor pave the shared use path between Shrom Hills Park and Greenbrook Drive, which was for a very long time gravel. Public Works, we worked very closely with Public Works on a lot of these projects. They installed 3 sets of rectangular rapid flashing beacon, crosswalk signage, 6 sets of LED enhanced crosswalk signage, and 4 LED enhanced stop signs, which do not have cameras on them, but people think they do, so I think they also help. But 2 of them are at one of the camera locations. We improved curb ramp, sidewalk segments, and new crosswalk connections at 5 locations and installed 2 raised crosswalks on Ridge Road. And in progress now, you'll see it slowly happening between other projects. We have all the material, we have all the materials on hand, and we're able to procure them. But Public Works is working to install shared use or SHARO markings on 8 corridors. I do know there's been some question about why we're not installing bike lanes. There simply is not enough room with the street parking to do that. And so we are installing SHAROs on those roads to help folks navigate their way through the city, connect to other bike connections, and to show that they are allowed to take the full lane. Next slide is just an image of some representative images of some of those projects. I couldn't squeeze them all together, but you see one of those beautiful new SHAROs there on Crescent, the covers of some of the reports, Public Works installing some of the signage, and some of the other traffic controls that have been implemented. Next slide, please. I will hand it over to Ryan.
Yes, so as part of the ARPA funding as well, the city took on and reserved $150,000 for bus stop safety and accessibility improvements. And in doing so, our staff worked with two contractors to construct one contract, excuse me, one contractor for concrete work and another one to build bus shelters. So in that, the contractor built 6 new bus shelters, and there were 29 new concrete pads done as part of this, not only for the shelters, but for new benches, new accessibility improvements, along with new curb ramps at one location, and also a new crosswalk at that same location. The photos in this slide are kind of a good snapshot of what those improvements consist of. So the photo in the lower left-hand corner, you can't quite see all of it, but at this particular stop, which is Lake Crest, and I forget what the cross street is there, Lake Crest and Westway, maybe. You'll see that before this work was done, there was no accessible pad there between the sidewalk and the curb face that allows a person in a wheelchair for the bus to stop at that point and for a person in a wheelchair to access that bus via the bus's ramp. You can also see behind there that there is a concrete pad that's been poured with a new bench there. And there's many new sites, bus stops that are done just like this. The other two pictures are a new bus shelter at Edmonston and Breezewood that you see. It's actually on Edmonston. And you also see in that photograph one of the solar light kits that was purchased with ARPA money on that particular shelter. So we worked very closely with Public Works on this project. While we did institute independent contractors for the concrete and construction, we worked with Public Works to have them install the 16 solar light kits at all 6 of the new bus shelters, and then install the rest at existing bus shelters, and also installed 19 new benches at bus stops as well.
A quick question about the solar light kits, which I think are fantastic. Is there enough juice that's generated to, at some point in the future, power next bus signs?
I do not believe so, and there's some constraints in terms of working with WMATA to make that happen, so no, I don't think that's a possibility. Yeah, next slide.
Very quickly, the third project that had been in planning's domain, but also working with Public Works, was a storm drains project across the city. With the staffing transition for planning and community development, the bulk of this work is now over with Public Works, but I did just want to put it in here and mention it, but we are still here to support that project as well. Next slide.
JB, may I
Yes.
jump in? I know this has been a topic of concern and curiosity by Councilmember Pompey when the state legislation was presented to require this. Yes. So for us, this project was already underway. So we would meet and exceed those requirements.
That's great. And I'm realizing this should say ARPA. This is another ARPA-funded project, so it's missing from the title, which is why I concluded it here. Next slide, please. So we have a number of other ongoing projects that are not ARPA-funded. Many are grant-funded or funded otherwise, so we'll go quickly through some of those. One is the Safe Streets and Roads for All, or SS4A, Citywide Vision Zero Action Plan. That is in my domain, and with the staffing transition, there has been a delay in putting the RFP out. I actually just submitted a quarterly report this week to FHWA, so they understand where we are. I think we're still well on track to complete the project within the allotted time frame, but I am hoping within the next month to get that RFP out on the streets so that we can get a consultant working on this project and moving it forward. Next slide. As Josue mentioned, we have been working on annexations. So we completed the BARC 3 NASA annexation. We had first reading on the Lanham Boys Club proposed annexation just this past Monday. And I expect to get the meets and bounds, the descriptions for BARC 1 and 2 probably next week. So we'll be able to continue to move forward with those as well. Next slide.
The Hanover Parkway Shared Use Path is in my domain, just to stay with Jamie's nomenclature.
Portfolio.
We had a work session with all of you a couple of weeks ago on this project where our consultant from Brutus and Associates came and discussed the project. Last week, I provided the consultant with the public comments and our own staff comments and review, and he has now got the go-ahead to move forward with completing the project and moving towards a 90% design. We expect to have 90% design plans in front of the City Council around the end of the year, November, December, and then wrap up and close up the grant in the first part of 2027, January, February, at which point we will then look for funding to finish the last 10% of design and permitting and proceed to construction and consider phasing, if any, that would be necessary to move the project forward.
We had also been working on the Historic Greenbelt Cemeteries Master Plan. We had a work session not too long ago in partnership with the museum director, Megan Young. Again, with the staffing transition, the bulk of this project has been transferred over to Megan and the museum as they just finalize the master plan, and we will continue to work together, I think, to look at implementation of the recommendations in the plan. Next slide. At long last, I just got from the county the final draft of the Greenbelt Strategic Wayfinding Plan, so you will see that back before you for acceptance very soon. I need to look at my notes. I might have to take it back to APB just one more time so they can draft a report for you. But the county has finalized it. It is up on their website. And so we'll be able to move forward with looking for implementation funding to start implementing the wayfinding plan as it is laid out in this document, and we can do that in phases as well. And this may be a really great opportunity to work with our new economic development manager and get her up to speed on this project so we can continue moving it forward. Next slide. The Greenbelt Station WMATA Trail is sort of at a pause at this moment. We previously submitted 90% design plans to State Highway Administration, SHA. They are grantor for the TAP funding, the Transportation Alternatives Program funding, for construction. And so they need to approve the plans in order for us to move forward to construction. They had significant comments. There's been significant turnover in staff with our consulting engineer, and so it has been a little bit of, there's been some delay in us responding to their comments on the 90% design. We're updating a schedule that takes us all the way through the end of construction to try to finalize that plan, so that we are slowly moving forward with. The Indian Creek Park Conceptual Master Plan, as you all know, we got really close to bringing it back to council, and then there were some questions at the county about our stormwater mitigation on the site. I believe we will be moving forward at this point. There's just a little bit more clarity we need from DPI to feel comfortable about moving forward, but I hope to bring the conceptual master plan to council for acceptance soon. And we've been working very closely with Recreation on this project, and it has been a pleasure working with them on it. Next slide. We are also working on, slowly but surely, do you want to talk about this one? I added it after we had our meeting today. our on-street parking study and policy development.
Yeah, so we are in the midst of kind of a twofold sort of GIS project to feed into these policies. We're mapping all of the crosswalks within the city, but also mapping all of our bus stops, which exists already, but we're also looking at bus stops that conflict with parking, and noting in that data how much, if any, parking would need to be removed to improve that bus stop in terms of access to the stop itself, and then coming up with a number of like how much parking we would need to remove to make to serve all the facilities that we currently have that are in conflict. So we're kind of moving towards that. Also on the crosswalk front, we're looking at establishing a policy for daylighting these crosswalks and to improve pedestrian safety at these crossings. So whenever we recognize or identify these safety issues, we can act on it more quickly.
And I will just add one that is not on here since it was mentioned earlier. I was mostly picking through our MBOs to highlight, but as an update on program open space, for FY27, we made a request for a total of $3 million for the Spring Hill Lake Recreation Center expansion renovation, and we're given preliminary approval to move forward with that request. So that would be $2.7 million from program open space, a local match of $50,000, and a federal match of $250,000. And as Josue mentioned, we'll move forward with that when the time comes. Right now, we just gotten that preliminary approval from the county that we could move forward. And we're wrapping up two previous projects. One is the Aquatic and Fitness Center's indoor pool deck. That project is complete. The receipts are in. We just need to do final accounting for a final reimbursement. And we have a little bit of funding left on the Buddy Attic parking lot that we need to complete and then submit for reimbursement as well. Next slide, please.
Back, the next few slides are all my domain. This year, we brought the two mandatory referrals to the council, which, as most of you know, our mandatory referral is a government-led project, so libraries, schools, other government buildings and projects. The two that are referred to here is an outpatient medical facility that the county runs at 9001 Edmonston Road. This mandatory referral was brought to the council, and we provided comments and testimony at the Prince George's Planning Board. I was by there today, and that project is currently under construction. There were workmen and work trailers on the site, and construction fencing and so on. Next slide, please.
Hey, just quickly, it's good to hear that that project's been moving forward. We broke ground on that back before COVID. So do you have a sense of what their timeline is?
No, that one was a little more recent. I think within the last year we broke ground on that one.
Okay, I'm thinking of the other facility that's directly across from.
Late 2023 or 2024, I think it was.
Well, we just reviewed the mandatory referral this past,
Yeah.
this year. So they had, they, unless, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's where the Chevrolet facility is going to move into
Yes.
that building.
It is.
Yeah, it wasn't pre-COVID because it's been since I was on council because I participated in that one.
Mid-COVID.
Well, it wasn't before COVID.
We'll note that that project there's improvements to the site and parking lot, but I think primarily it's an interior refit. So they may have had workers on the site just if there's any remediation needed or anything like that in the existing building. I didn't stop and question or anything like that, so it's hard to say, except there were construction trailers and workers on the site today. The second mandatory referral that was brought to you recently is the new Spring Hill Lake Elementary School. As most of you know, this is proposes to demolish the existing Spring Hill Lake School and build a new school on that same site. Our staff provided testimony and formal comments to the Prince George's County Planning Board Also on the construction front, Gilberto and I have been working closely on the right-of-way plans. Our staff reviewed the right-of-way plans and to make sure that they met what we had agreed to with the engineer and also what the city council voted on in terms of your comments on this project. And that will consist of Prince George County Public Schools will be milling and overlaying the road. And in doing so, they'll be replacing all of the sharrows on that road that will be taken out with milling, but also improving all 3 crosswalks so that are on the frontage of this road with raised crosswalks. The central one and both of them on Spring Hill Drive, sorry. So many Spring Hills. So Gilberto and I have been coordinating with that, and the permit, I think, just needs to be paid for. And then we'll be ready to issue that for the construction and the right-of-way. Next slide, please. The Go Prince George's Countywide Master Plan of Transportation is a countywide master plan across the entire county that the Prince George's Park and Planning has been working on. Our staff also reviewed and provided formal comments on that plan. Their staff also came before the council at a work session and made a presentation quite a few months ago. I attended the joint public hearing with the Prince George's County Council and Planning Board and provided testimony during that hearing. Soon after, there was a memo that was put out by Prince George's Park and Planning that was remanding the plan back to the planning department to address opportunities and challenges and deficiencies that were found in the plan through the public comment process. They are estimating that a new draft of the plan will be released in the spring of 2027. And so that plan is kind of on hold now until they come out with a new version, at which point we'll review it again and see what's changed. Next slide, please. The last item on this slide is the Consolidated Transportation Program with the state. We reviewed the 2026 to 2031 plan and provided formal comments on the plan. One of the most important ones in my mind was this particular CTP proposed to greatly reduce the funding to a lot of the transportation alternatives programming and the Kim Lampier Bicycle Ways program. And through our comments, and I'm sure other comments from other municipalities, that funding was reestablished at the state level. Our staff expects the draft plan for 2027 to 2032 to come out pretty soon, at which point we will review that, make comments, and go through the process again. But I have no information on what may be proposed or changed. Cross that bridge when we get to it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, related to that, there was actually a Transportation Planning Board meeting today, and the approved $2 million in funding through TAP for the Heritage Triangle Trail Phase 1 in Montgomery County. It's a Bird Road, Norwood Road shared use path. They only awarded one project. It sounds like there were some smaller projects, but they didn't want to, if they did just the smaller projects, I guess they can't award partial funding. If they did the smaller projects, it would leave funding on the table. So and this one was the one that was ready to go. There was, I guess, a second one. They didn't give a list of the projects that weren't funded, but that one was that was the one proposed to be funded, and that was the one that was put forward as the TAP funding for Maryland for this cycle. So that just happened today. The other thing that might be of relevance from that TPP meeting today is they're looking at proposed regional bus service guidelines based on tiers of density and population, and as well as employment density. And so that they presented sort of some initial overview of that, but I don't think the plan is out as a draft fully yet. But that is, and the presentation they gave is on the website. I grabbed a few relevant screenshots that I can send out, but that's not necessarily directly related to us, since we don't actually run any bus services, but I think could be of interest to our as we're looking at some of the other transportation plans and figuring out how, they had a presentation from Metro about how that, like Metro looking at incorporating some of these things. And they said that they'd had people from other jurisdictions and other, transit services as part of some of the meetings, but the only person we heard from was Metro. So, talking about buses, but still, Metro bus, not, for example, the bus or other things. So, something to pay attention to. I think that's supposed to come back to us for approval from TPB in September. So,
And on that note, we should now have staff representation on the TPB Tech Committee, starting in September when they reconvene.
yeah, there's no meeting in August for TPB or the,
But we've been in touch with them, and so that, going forward, I think that'll be great, too.
and I'm sure they talked about some of those things in that meeting as well. I mean, it tends to be, I think, a little bit more high level and less into the weeds with the full TPB.
Slide. I'm going to pass it over to Gil and Michael.
Good evening. We will try to make this quick and painless because I know we're running out of time. Okay, next slide. Okay, the management objective for Department of Planning and Community Development, proactively maintain 95% of municipal code through compliance rates, prepare proposed revisions through city code, improve reporting to support and track all complaints, permits, licenses, and miscellaneous data, develop an online payment system, launch a public awareness programs to reduce common violations and complaints, foster partnership with neighboring municipalities and county agencies. Progress updates for our department, reduced complaints and citations, drafted city code revisions, implemented updated reporting in Utopia, installed in office credit card readers, which was very important, and actually the residents love that, that payment process. Introduce ongoing coffee with the community events, and that's sponsored or in collaboration with PG County Fire Department, and then with strengthened regional partnerships. Additional accomplishments from our department, it's collaborating with city economic development staff on business permitting and licensing support, partnering with neighboring municipalities on regional in-house municipal code training, collaborating with PG Police Department Crisis Intervention Team and CARE Scale on hoarding situations and response. Renewed the city MDE erosion and sediment control delegation, and also we renewed the Greenbelt Lake Dam Emergency Action Plan. Slide. This is a snapshot of in numbers that are generated or produced by our department. Next slide. On compliance and permitting, looking ahead, we want to launch a online payment method, update website presence, expand outreach, strengthen regional collaboration, and continue proactive code enforcement.
So, since we were just talking about the numbers, I thought it might be a good idea to kind of walk you through what a typical residential and commercial inspection would look like, kind of what we're looking for and what we find. So for residential inspections, what we're really focusing on is life safety issues. We're making sure smoke alarms are installed and in the correct locations and functioning. On the right-hand side there, you can see there's a smoke alarm missing. We're also looking for evidence of insect or rodent activity in case some sort of extermination is required, which you can see in the left-hand picture. We're also looking for things like evidence of water leaks, electrical hazards, and that each bedroom has access to a operable window in case that's needed in an emergency. We also come across slightly more serious issues. On the left-hand side there, you see a deck that had some pretty severe wood decay. kind of hard to tell in that picture, but the ledger board on the left-hand side has actually become detached from the joists. On the right-hand side, we have a case of excess storage that can cause numerous issues, health and safety problems in the home. When we come across a property like that, we coordinate with the crisis intervention team and our lovely team over at CARES to get the resident any and all help we can provide. I will say for both of these properties that immediate steps were taken to ensure no tragedy happened, and that both of these were resolved relatively quickly without any need for citations or any real enforcement action other than observation. Next slide, please. For commercial properties, those can vary wildly depending on what kind of business is in the property. But generally what we're looking for is that there's a fire extinguisher present and it's the correct type for the type of business that's there. So say an office will need a different kind of extinguisher than a restaurant. We're also checking that emergency lights and exit signs are in place and functional. Next slide, please. We're looking at sprinkler heads, make sure they have the proper clearance. On the left-hand side there's only about 4 to 6 inches away from the sprinkler heads, and you need 18 for them to function correctly. We're also checking that emergency exits are clear at all times. On the right-hand side there, you can see someone decided to stack pallets in front of the only exit in that loading area. So really, I would say apartments are kind of a combination since they have elements of both residential and commercial. So when we're doing those inspections, you'll see aspects of both of those. And I'll finish off my little spiel here with that a lot of those violations are fairly simple to identify and correct, but I like to stress that simple doesn't mean unimportant. In 2024, just to highlight one aspect, the National Fire Protection Association put out a study that showed that when a home had smoke alarms that were functional and in the correct locations, it decreased fire-related deaths by at least 60%. So simple steps that can really have an impact on the lives and safety in the city. Yep, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, really appreciated the update from the whole department with code compliance and permitting. I have a couple of acquaintances that work with the county doing inspections, and the county seems to be putting more emphasis on just equipping their people with de-escalation skills, because sometimes you run into situations where it can get kind of hostile. How do you deal with those situations?
We have to assess the situation, and again, every situation is different. Depending on what's going on, we step back, we lower our tone. I mean, we never are hostile regardless. We lower our tone. We ask them if they need anything from us that we can help them out. That's how we de-escalate. Anything you want to add?
I would just say sometimes it's helpful to bring in a different inspector or something, because sometimes I'll say aggressor in this case, can become fixated on the person. So if you just switch the face, even if they're saying the same thing, it can kind of get through in a different way. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
This is just a stray thought, because at the Goddard Safety Week, they've done a safety escape room the last few years, where you go in and you have to identify the safety hazards, and each safety hazard has a letter on it, so you pick up what the safety hazard is, whether it's an expired fire extinguisher or the exit blocked or whatever, and then you put the letters down, and then you have to unscramble them into whatever the word is. If you're looking for what could be a kind of, I don't know exactly how you, but people might have fun doing that and learn about some of the hazards that are not allowed under code enforcement. I think, it takes some preparation, obviously, to put together, but I mean, this year, we got all the letters. We couldn't unscramble the word. It was kind of, we found all the safety hazards, but it ran out of time to unscramble. It was actually astronauts, which seems like it would have been an obvious one to have figured out. But anyway, just one outreach idea.
Thank you.
Councilmember.
Yeah, I just wanted to flag, for those who don't know, and residents as well who don't know, that a new law just went into effect in the state of Maryland that requires certain apartment units to provide air conditioning, just like they're required to provide heat as of June 1 of this year, they're also required to provide air conditioning. And I think that's pretty much all the apartment units in Maryland. 'Cause I'm looking it up, and it's 10 or more rental units, newly constructed units, units that have already had AC. And any unit that's being renovated has to provide it. So and basically they have to maintain a temperature of 80 degrees or lower during the summer months, which are June 1 through September 30, according to this law. So,
Yeah, we were aware, and we are enforcing that we were aware PG County notified us.
that's great.
Or Michael actually did some research as well and found that AC is required.
Okay,
So we
I
are
know
enforcing
we've
it.
had issues with that in previous summers. I think just last summer we had issues with it. So I think also I don't know what we can do to make sure residents are aware too, that this is not just, that their landlords are legally required to provide them with air conditioning. I think it's important that they know that.
It's very important. We'll go to Mr. Hartman in just a moment. Just really quick, any update, the Greenbelt, the east bicycle trail that goes from Greenbelt out past Goddard and so on? Is there any update on the status of that?
SHA completed their, I just lost the word.
Feasibility study?
Thank you. I knew it started with an F, and I was going to say facility studies, but that wasn't right. Thank you. Their feasibility studies. I haven't seen any mention recently of potential funding. We have repeatedly now added that to our comments during the CTP process as a part of a more holistic Maryland 193 Greenbelt Road complete streets makeover. And so we continue to do that. We also had submitted that for a pilot project last year for scoring for the CTP as a part of the whole corridor, and it scored well along with Cherrywood Lane, but was not actually incorporated into the CTP. It was a pilot project that wouldn't have that outcome. So I don't know if we'll see it this year. I know there are tons of budgetary constraints. Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much. And Councilmember McKinney has a question or comment. Are you there, Councilmember?
I am, thank you. I know we have been talking about putting together a letter to the school system to encourage some additional collaboration and communication with our residents regarding the transition of Spring Hill Lake students over to Dora Kennedy. I'm just wondering if there are any other sort of planning things that we need to take into account to ensure that the students who are walking, because my sense is that there will probably be far more students walking to the school than currently those students that currently go to Dora Kennedy, where there's a lot of people that are driving to the school. So I don't know if there are any things that we need to work with the county on to ensure that there's just temporarily more things in place to ensure that they get there safely.
Yeah, we have not been in contact with them about their crossing guard program. That's really honestly the only thing I can think of. I believe there is a crossing guard stationed at the middle school, or at Dora Kennedy.
Oh, okay.
During arrival and dismissal. I have seen them there when I've gone past, but I don't know beyond that if there are any other crossing guards that would be considered, or if the school system will be busing students. That happens, I know, in other school systems when they have a temporary site, they will pick up at the previous site, even while it's under construction, and bus the children to the school. And I think that might be a better option, but I don't know if that's something that they have considered.
We had a meeting today with Ms. Megan Thornton at the PGCPS. It's a follow-up to the letter that we recently sent. We asked for a traffic and transportation plan, so we're waiting on something from them. But we had some information shared with them after the meeting. They shared with us that 90 to 95% of the students walk to school. So they don't expect traffic pattern to change significantly, as we're talking about predominantly kids who are walking to school. But we did leave the door open to have further discussion about what crossing guards would look like. I haven't discussed it with the chief, but we would allocate some officers at the beginning of the year just to kind of help out and make any recommendations that we see are needed at the site with the crossing guards. I'm particularly concerned because the population that was going to Dora Kennedy were predominantly driving students, and this is going to be a shift. So while we don't expect an increase in vehicle having the kids, that might change some of the traffic patterns. So we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll have further conversation with PGCPS. We also received a commitment for a meeting with council, so we need to offer some dates to the superintendent for a work session.
Thank you. Councilmember Pompey?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up about the changing traffic patterns. I mean, it would be really great if we could, working with the police and PGCPS, do some walkthroughs and like help provide parents with like what are the routes, like how are your kids getting to Dora Kennedy? I mean, I think that's going to be really important because they're going to be, it's literally in the opposite direction of where the kids go now, and I think I'm really happy that they're going to be at Dora Kennedy because these are walkers and they can still walk. But I think if we are able to provide them with like routes, like walking routes and walking plans, or doing like family safety walks together before school starts, just to help people just know what they're supposed to do, because the first day of school is always confusing. Like anyone who has kids, you know, it's confusing no matter what, no matter how well organized you are, and especially the first day at a new school. And this isn't just going to be like the first day for some kids. This is going to be the first day at a new school for every single one of these 900 plus kids. So I just, want us to make sure that, like you said, having more police to help direct traffic is probably going to be really important, just because there's going to be a lot going on that day. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think perhaps we need to actually coordinate with Franklin Park a little bit more. I think crossing Edmonston or Breezewood is one thing, but some of the inner roadways inside of Franklin Park may actually be especially hazardous because of the number of cars in there and people going back and forth. So perhaps we need to clue in, touch base with the Franklin Park management and have them somehow participate in that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to mention that in our presentation, where it discussed 8 corridors that we have that are slated to have sharrows installed on them. Roughly half, actually, exactly half of those streets are in that general area that will get new sharrows that don't currently have them. So.
Did Gil have something he wanted to say?
Gil, I'm sorry.
Can we do a community street chalking event? Seriously, in Spring Hill Lake?
That sounds
Because
like a lot
we
of
could
fun,
get everyone involved on marking out arrows to the crosswalks. I would really, really love to
It's a great idea.
yeah.
Great idea, yeah. Maybe a week before school or something, yeah. Yeah, please.
Currently talking with Franklin Park management about the internal sidewalks. One around Breezewood Drive and I think 6200 block of it. One of their sidewalk, it's a little bit hazardous, so they've been warned already. So we are in communication with them. We could probably expand that to the surrounding areas. So if you guys want to, whenever we have that conversation with Franklin Park, I can bring that up as well.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea. I love the chalking idea. And also, did they begin their demolition of they said on Monday that they were scheduled to actually begin the demolition.
I haven't driven by since the groundbreaking, so I don't know, but I would imagine that they would have started, right?
They were starting with the asbestos abatement, so I don't know if anything's actually been demolished yet, but that's what they were starting with, is what they told me.
Yeah, it may not look like much yet then, if that's what they're doing.
I have one. Okay. Thank you. Real quick, just to add two thoughts. I mean, in addition to the community chalking, there's the concept of walking school buses. I don't know that we would necessarily be able to organize those, but in just looking up if the county or the school system had a Safe Routes to School program, it appears that they do, and they have, PGCPS has a safety office which has a safe passage program, so it may be worth connecting with them to see what they can actually lead within their own within their own administration, that they could be organizing some of that, including perhaps a walking school buses where the kids and parents would meet at particular corners and then walk together so that they're not kind of walking alone.
And we do some of that now. I think all of you participate in the Walk to School Days that are in partnership with PGCPS and our police department. So I'll connect with both and see if we have any of those activities scheduled. And that's the same as the walking school bus.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yes and no. The walking school buses are actually like set up to have pickup points like buses. So Walk to School Day may have walking school buses, but then the walking school buses would be a regular everyday kind of event, where the Walk to School Day, you get fun things for walking to school.
Those are especially, the walking school buses are especially great for parents who can't necessarily maybe walk their kids to school,
Yeah.
because they basically wait at a corner, just like they're waiting for a bus, and then a crowd kids comes along and they
Often
join
with
in
an
and
adult
walk.
that is able to go with
Yeah.
them, yeah.
So, yeah, it's I think those are great.
Suggestions, very, very good. Mr. Hartman?
Michael Hartman, 2 Court Garden Way. Just first a comment about the language that we use here. When you say demolition, do you mean just tearing it down, or could you use deconstruction, which involves reuse, recycle, and repurposing of materials? I hope that when these buildings come down, that there's an effort made to reuse materials or recycle them, or not all of them for the landfill. That's just one point on vocabulary. But I have a question for inspections. Do you folks conduct inspections of city buildings and properties as well as businesses and private areas?
No, it's only private property that we inspect.
Who inspects the city-owned buildings? Or
Yeah, it's
properties?
Public Works.
Public Works?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Are there any other questions online? Any other questions in the room?
I'll respond briefly to Mr. Hartman's question. When it comes to safety in the facilities, it's a shared responsibility. Anyone who sees something that's hazardous or dangerous needs to report it right away so that we can address it. We do have our fire alarms and fire extinguishers inspected by third party. So that's our code enforcement does that for private property. We hire a team that does that, in addition to staff checking those systems. Our elevators are checked by a third-party vendor as well, and they're certified to be operating. Hence why we're replacing 2 elevators at the community center. So.
It's fantastic. This has been such a enlightening discussion and just kind of a deeper dive into the things that you are doing on a day-to-day basis, and it is so many different things. I'm really, really impressed with the productivity and just the impactfulness of the things that you are working on. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So at this time, we're privileged to be able to bring Greenbelt Cares up to the table. So good evening. And I guess we're running a little bit behind, but actually I think we'll be able to come out just about where we want to. Appreciate all the things you do, so many wonderful programs, and a lot of the programs that we are able to do that. We've built up over time here in Greenbelt are programs that you don't find in very many other municipalities this size. So we're very, very proud of what you do collectively. So Dr. Park, it's so nice to see you tonight.
So thank you for inviting us to come, and I know Mr. Cimarron's been doing different departments at different city manager updates, so we're happy to be here this evening. It's myself, and then Crystal Beatty, who is the Assistant Director of Greenbelt Cares, and Deji Oyoku, who is our Education and Workforce Development Coordinator. We have many other staff, but we're the dream team that's here to talk to you all tonight. So Greenbelt Cares is unique. So it's Greenbelt Cares in the Gale program. Many cities do not offer the level of service that we offer at Greenbelt, and so I know Crystal and I feel very privileged to work for a city that supports these efforts and sees. I always tell people that our city sees a healthy city beyond good roads, recreation, is trash picked up, but about mental health, about support services, about senior services, about education. So that's really the realm of Greenbelt Cares. All right, Ms. Shania, thank you. So we have kind of three anchor programs that we're going to talk about. The Youth and Family Services Bureau, which really covers our mental health services, our clinical services that we provide, including the education and workforce development that Deji does. Crystal will be talking about the Greenbelt Assistance and Living Program, which is for senior services and then also community events and providing community supports. And then Green Ridge House Service Coordination Program, which is, again, under Crystal's purview and supports those living at Green Ridge House in particular. So first, I'm going to talk about Greenbelt Cares Youth and Family Services. And so we really focus on mental health. So we offer a variety of mental health services to community members. We do individual counseling, family counseling, crisis support services, and information referral services, substance use assessments. So we try and really think of what is the mental health of our citizens, our community members, and how can we support that. We also offer supports to employees who are looking for mental health support. They can come to Greenbelt Cares also. Or if there's something that happens in the community, sometimes we're asked to come out and offer support if something happens at a recreation facility or unfortunately, many years ago there were some events that have happened in the city, and our team has gone out to offer crisis services to businesses and other things that have experienced some traumas or losses and those kinds of things. We have the education and workforce development component that Deji will be talking about that really tries to make sure young people have the support they need to be successful in school. So we do tutoring services. And then we also have our GED program, which is for those who maybe have not been successful in a traditional classroom, the opportunity to continue their education and achieve their GED certificate, or at least achieve a piece of that at a time at their own pace. We also have an ESOL class, which is English as a second language, and then our workforce development, connecting people to work and helping people get ready for work. And then crisis support. As you all know, we transitioned from CARES offering that. We now have a crisis team with the police department, but then we work in conjunction with them. And so they refer folks to us, and then we can offer ongoing support and referral systems for those folks. Ms. Shania, thank you. So the two kind of MBOs for the Youth and Family Services that we have for 2026. One was to really work with the new Constituent Services Program and see how we could partner with them in offering mental health services and information and referral to folks. And so looking at the third and fourth quarter, we attended the Fresh Start Fair that was offered by Constituent Services, the Touch a Truck event, the Wellness Walk with the police department. We had staff there offering information and referrals. And then Councilmember Adams had a resource fair the same day as the Wellness Walk. And so Deji double teamed it, was one place in the morning, the other place in the afternoon, connecting with residents. And then at that, Crystal was able to work with them to help get food from the Capital Area Food Bank that they were able to distribute to the community. So we're really trying to work hard at the community events that happen to make sure CARES has a presence and we're getting resources out. And then in August is the upcoming National Night Out. And we'll be there again working with citizens and offering, make sure they know about our programs and the supports that we offer. And then our second MBO for the Youth and Family Services part was to respond to emerging community needs and develop programs in collaboration with community partners and agencies. And so working with Spring Hill Lake Elementary, we received a community school grant. And this summer we've begun offering active parenting classes. They have noticed that they're having many students who are late to school. They're coming to school, but they're coming late. And so we're really working with families and parents to talk about family structure, family management, why it's important to get your kids to school on time, and then teaching other good parenting skills. So that's kind of our focus this summer with them. And then we're hoping to do some follow-up in the fall with that with the community school. And then Crystal and I have been working on the beginning of establishing the 501c3 for the city. While I was gone vacation last week, the lawyer sent some draft bylaws, so Crystal and I will be going over those, and then getting those all to you all to look at, but we're going to take our first look and kind of review of them so that we can continue that process of establishing the 501c3. Next. So I talked a little bit about this, the mental health services. We do the individual and family counseling. So we do family counseling mainly on Wednesday nights when all of our staff are here. And then we also have graduate interns from a variety of schools, University of Maryland. We've had one from what's called National University, which is like Capella, similar to a Capella University. And University of Maryland, we have both marriage and family therapy, and then also from their counseling psychology program right now. So we really love to have interns here. Not only do they help us provide more services, but we feel like we're training kind of the next generation of folks who want to do community-based work. It's a different work to do community-based work, to work in a community agency where we work with anything that walks in the door. We do not specialize in one topic or one issue. And so that takes a special type of person who wants to do that kind of work. So we love having interns and exposing them to that. We have senior counseling services. So we have someone who really works just with folks 65 and older and kind of specializes in the types of needs they have and the types of issues they might be experiencing. We do substance abuse assessments for the school system. So if a young person is either caught at school with something or under the influence of something, they have to go for a 2-session assessment. And so we provide that for the school systems. We're one of many agencies, but for kids from Roosevelt or from Greenbelt Middle School and other surrounding Duval, we get referrals from different places. So they come and we do an assessment with the youth and the parent to kind of see, is this an ongoing problem? Does the young person maybe need tutoring? Why are they using the substance? Many of them get on our family counseling waiting list. And so we've been doing that for probably about 10 years with the school system, where we offer those substance use assessments for them. And then again, parenting classes, which we have done on and off, and we're really happy to have them back again with Spring Hill Lake Elementary this year. And so those are just kind of the variety of mental health services that we're offering. Ms. Chennai, thank you. So just a snapshot of who we served. So in 2026, we had 110 formal counseling cases. And what that means is those are folks who came 4 sessions or more. So if they came 4 sessions or more for counseling, we counted them in that. So we had 110 individuals and or families. And so formal counseling clients, were 153 people were served. And then 37 of those were people under 18 years of age. And then we did 43 substance use assessments for the school system in terms of helping that. And then looking at the demographics of who we serve, so 47% of the folks identified as white, 32% as Black. We have a growing population of Hispanic folks that we see at CARES because we have 2 counselors now who are bilingual in Spanish. So that's 22%, and then about 10% identifying as other. Thank you. So I'm going to turn it over to Deji to talk about our GED.
Has a question.
Go back to that last one just for a second, Ms. Lashley-Mullen. So do you track so most of these are Greenbelt residents?
I don't have that number in my head, but we do serve a large number of Greenbelt residents, and then because of the county funds we get, we're able to serve people outside of Greenbelt also.
And do you track where they're from in Greenbelt, like east, west, center?
We have in the past, and we certainly could pull that data. We have, yep.
Because I think that's just useful to know if we're distributing our services geographically across the city.
I would say, I mean, just off the top of my head, probably the majority come from Center Greenbelt, and then we have folks from Greenbelt West and Greenbelt East, but obviously people are going to go to what's close to them.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're trying to do more like the elementary school, trying to do things where we're in their communities.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of, I think, the sort of the point of my question is if we have more population outside of Center City than we do in Center City. So if most of our clients that we're serving through these counseling services are in Center City, that means we're not actually distributing evenly across where the population is. Because I think it's, I don't know, I think it's only probably 25 or 30% in Center City, and the rest of the population is between east and west, if you look at the numbers. So that was just the point of my question. Thank you.
And those youth substance assessments, those are referrals from the different schools?
Yes.
So they may or may not be Greenbelt residents, but they are attending Roosevelt or the middle school or
yes.
French immersion school.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And sometimes we're getting folks from, what's the one over in College Park, the high school?
Academy?
Parkdale.
Parkdale,
Because we have
Parkdale,
Spanish-speaking staff, and so we get quite a few referrals also from Parkdale.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. My name is Deji Ayoku, and I'm here to talk to you about the tutoring and workforce department of Greenbelt Cares as well, too. So off the back, I'm going to talk about the GED class. So our GED class serves students who were not successful in school and would like a second chance at education. With that being said, we have a variety of individuals who attend our class on a given basis. For fiscal year 26, we had 56 students who attended our class, and out of that 56, 21% of them have fully completed their GED. Out of those 56 students, 55% of them have completed one GED test or more. We typically keep this stat just to let the students know, hey, you know, you're making progress and just keep on moving and you're in the right direction as well too, for the most part. Besides that, I always like to keep in mind that these students are not our typical high school students. We've actually had younger, we've had 15-year-olds actually, 16-year-olds actually pass as well too. So they're not our typical, you know, adult in a sense. So I like to, you know, give them, you know, their congratulations as well too, just let them know they're doing the right thing. They might have thought, you know, the school system might have failed them, or they might have failed the school system. So just motivating them and just giving them that motivation to continue with their education is always a good thing, what we try to do here at CARES as well too. In regards to that, our ESOL program, it's not a traditional ESOL program where, you know, we have a graduation as well too. Some of the individuals in our ESOL program have been there for the past 6 years, and they just feel this is a class where they could practice their English and conversation. So most of them have gotten jobs in the time being here, and most of them have, you know, just gone on to better things. Some of them have purchased houses as well too, so they've just gained that confidence with our ESOL program. Our ESOL program, we have volunteers who help out with that as well too. We have Miss Leslie Cash, we have Erica Johns, we have Dory Bates, who help out every week in, week out with this program, and they just make that program very beneficial to the individuals who participate in it for the most part. That being said, our tutoring program, We've tutored 63 students with the help of our volunteer students, volunteer interns from University of Maryland. We have local Greenbelters who help us out as well too. And we also have retired educators who help us out with our tutoring program as well too. With that, we've seen a big improvement in children's lives, as well as their ability to read fluently as well too. They've also improved in behavioral and educational aspects in the classroom as well too. Many students we have tutored have been able to maintain honor roll as well as gain honor roll for the first time. These accomplishments reflect the positive impact of the individual academic support and mentorship that we provide here at CARES. We've also been able to go in to classrooms, especially like in Greenbelt Middle School. We've been able to partner with a lot of the teachers there and just see how students are doing overall. We've been able to go into our special education aspect of Greenbelt Middle and just see how, you know, kids learn and just what we could do to help them out as well too. We form strong relationships with the schools. We also form strong relationships with parents and guardians, just to let them know that, hey, you know, if you can't make just say like a parents' night out, or a PTA meeting or something like that, we could probably fill in and just see what you might need to know, if you would, you know, you would want that as well too. Like I said before, we keep a close relationship with guidance counselors, with teachers. We also offer middle school, high school students a chance to get service learning hours as well too, so they could help tutor younger students, or they could just help out with assisting around our office. So whether it be like printing out work for younger students, or just arranging, you know, Lexile levels and just understanding reading levels for kids to help them out, they could do that as well too. Lastly will be our workforce development program. So our workforce development program continues to connect residents with employment opportunities and career resources. Our most recent job fair welcomed 138 attendees, providing Greenbelt residents as well as surrounding cities with opportunities to connect directly with employers and learn about available career opportunities. In addition to this, we've also helped out 64 individuals with workforce-related matters. So whether it be resume writing, whether it be transportation to job interviews, or even just securing employment, we've been able to help out with this as well too. We also helped individuals apply to college, our local community colleges as well too. We've attended a variety of different programs. PGCC has given or been provided for a lot of incoming freshmen as well too. So we've had individuals who have graduated from Eleanor Roosevelt or just even the GED program, and they want to further their education. So we've had we've driven them to PGCC as well too, and just helped them out with either learning about their FAFSA, you know, financial aid, and just seeing what scholarship or grants they could get, so it's not a burden for them, and it's, you know, just motivated for them to keep on going and pursuing their education. Besides this, you know, through our GED tutoring and workforce development program, we remain committed to expanding educational opportunities, strengthening academic achievement, and supporting workforce success throughout our community. We appreciate all the continued support from the council as well too. And we also just really try to make a lasting impact on our community and our residents here in Greenbelt as well too, for the most part.
Next slide. So Deji went over some of these, but he really is a one-person operation with a multitude of volunteers and interns that he works with to accomplish all of these things that he does. So we're very happy to have Deji on board. And if you've ever seen Deji over there, all the kids know him, he knows everybody, he's really become part of the community, which is so needed to have that trust in the community, that parents know they can trust Deji, their kids can trust Deji. And so just a shout out to Deji that you're doing a great job. Okay, next slide. And then the crisis support services that we do. So as I noted, we partner with the CIT program with the police department, and Crystal's going to talk some about how they partner with the CIT program. So when they go out and they have someone who needs follow-up beyond what they can offer, because they're really there to assess, maybe stabilize, and then refer them on. They refer them on to us, and then we're able to reach out, offer either information referral, support services, or bring them on for crisis counseling, which we offer up to 8 sessions. And then if the person needs more, they can get on for either individual or family counseling. We do suicide prevention assessments, so if someone is either through the CIT program, through the school system, we get referrals if they're concerned about a student. So we are able to provide suicide assessments and prevention services and to help stabilize young people. The Emergency Relief Fund that we partner with GILA for, so GILA is the real mainstay of the Emergency Assistance Fund, so they're the ones who look to get the donations for that. But then Greenbelt Cares monitors that for them and provides, we take the applications, we do the assessment for them, and then, you know, the decisions around that.
So I was just wondering, what's the balance that we have in that fund? There seems to be an uptick in displacements and evictions right now, so I was just
Several
wondering.
$100s right now. It's very low right now. We've not had much in it. The last donation we had was really, every year I write a grant for the special appropriations grant, and that always goes quickly, but that was probably the last major donations. But we do get donations from the community. I know Gila works to increase those donations, but it's not a lot each year, as you'll see when we get to the numbers. Yep. And then information and referral, we get a variety of calls about all kinds of things, and so we're happy to help people connect them with whatever, whether it's mental health, we get calls about, I can't even tell you, just a variety of things, right, Crystal? Yeah, we get asked about all kinds of things. So we really have a very large information referral book where we can refer people to hopefully the right place. And then we have a partnership with County Social Services. So on Wednesdays, we have a representative from the County Social Services in the CARES office so that residents can come there to access those resources without having to go all the way down to Bright Seat Road or all of that. Yep, next, thank you. Oh, you can't see this very well. But so in terms of persons contacted, so the people that were referred by the CIT program that we then reached out to set up services with, there was 27 this past year, or this past third and fourth quarter. Requests for service, those are folks who maybe just called in their own crisis or requesting those support services. We had another 12. 10 people wanted short-term counseling services beyond just information referral to another resource. We had 507 requests for eviction. Now, those aren't all Greenbelters. We get calls from all over, but we were able to help 31 people just based on the funding that we've had this year. And then we did 449 information and referrals of just people calling and wanting resources, information, how to find something, where's the local hospital, where is this resource, those types of things. And then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Crystal.
Question about the eviction relief, the ones that are granted. I know you vet the individuals, you know, carefully. So of the 31 that received grants, what's the percentage that are able to kind of make it after that one-time grant?
That's a great question. So to get the grant, they have to show that they will be able to pay the next month's rent. Beyond that, we don't really track them, but we want to make sure that if we're helping stabilize somebody, that it's a situational crisis, that maybe their car broke down, they had a medical expense, and that's what's gotten them behind. Because the landlord will take our money, and then if they can't make the next month, we'll evict them anyway. So we want to make sure that the person is able to pay the next month's rent. So we make sure they're employed, they have income coming in, they have a way to maintain that housing, but we don't track months out how long they've stayed in that home.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Let's a little bit closer. Okay. Could you go to the next slide, please? So the first 4 bullets here are the MBOs that we have for the GALE program. And one of the pieces that I think is imperative for the success of the program is to always stay relevant. So for us, it means that we are continuing to assess the needs of the community and build our partnerships with stakeholders. We continue to educate the community because what we're finding is new people are moving in to the community on a constant basis, and we have to make sure that they're aware of the resources and programs that we offer through the GALE program. So whether it's support groups or technology courses or screenings, we're always trying to keep people up to date. We are continuing, as was mentioned previously, with our food distributions and our diaper distributions. We also have the Pink Pantry, which provides feminine hygiene products to Greenbelt residents. And we, with funding, previously from a grant, but now with additional ARPA funding, we've been able to continue serving residents at Spring Hill Lake with additional food support, in addition to our regular Thursday event, which is tomorrow, in case anyone at home wants to come out to our produce and food giveaway. Let's see. Unfortunately but true, Prince George's County is ranked 3rd in the nation for cases of dementia. And for the last 10 years, the GALE program has been instrumental in dementia-friendly Prince George's County for the northern sector. That program is divided into 3 sectors for Prince George's County, of which we fall into the north. And we do a host of different services and programs for residents of the county, because in many instances people come to us because of limited services that are available in Prince George's County. They come to Greenbelt for our support group, for example, or our memory cafe. And of course, from a grant that we had received from the state of Maryland for our computer lab, we continue to offer senior planet classes, caregiver hybrid caregiving services and memory cafe programs in partnership with the Smithsonian Institute. So we are continuing to utilize those computers in a wide array of ways. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, the pages are out of order. Okay, here we go. Okay, just to give you some numbers, to connect numbers with the programs that we offer. The GALE program has currently served 262 individuals and provided resource linkage of approximately 840 different services for residents. This is resident specific. Our emergency diaper distribution has distributed over 18,000 diapers to Greenbelt residents. And our Pink Pantry has served approximately 260 Greenbelt residents with over 13,000 products. Our food distribution, the one I just mentioned earlier, has served 3,077 individuals and approximately 1,195 Greenbelt families, households, excuse me. And of course, our caregiving support group, we've offered 24 sessions of that and served 120 residents. Okay. So earlier you have heard from both planning as well as Liz speaking about the CIT program. Just to give you a little bit of insight, the CIT program is comprised of both the GALE program staff. We also work with the police department and code enforcement. And then we have representatives from the community that also participate. We are a combination of, I guess it's like an exciting interdisciplinary team, because things are never boring in those meetings. We've served approximately 23 residents over the course of this last year, of which 13 were hoarding cases, or as I call people with extreme collections. And then 10 cases were non-collections, but more complex. So they involve people with cognitive impairment or mental health concerns or physical decline. And we bring the power of the team together to help with various needs that they may express, or in some instances, we're working with landlords to help them become compliant. We've also We've also helped with the home modification grant, the dollars that are budgeted to help residents age in place here in Greenbelt. And that can be everything from stair lifts to handrails to things that they are using to modify to become more independent and not be, in some instances, trapped in their own homes or relegated to a floor of their own home. So we continue to utilize those funds. Next slide. Okay. We mentioned about the memory care and memory cafe programming that we offer. Many of the programs that we've been able to do was because of a donation that was made to the Gale program from a residents foundation fund, and we have utilized that and strung it along for more than a decade. And we still continue to utilize that fund to offer caregiver support services here in Greenbelt. Most recently, in keeping us current with all that's going on in the world of dementia, one of our staff people attended the Johns Hopkins Conference on Aging and Dementia, and our community case manager also was a panelist on the Aging Summit at Coppin State, designing aging services for longevity. I mentioned memory screenings. One of the services that we do provide here in Greenbelt for residents as well as others in the community is what's called the brief Alzheimer's screen. It's a dementia screening. It is not a diagnosis, but it's a very brief screening tool that is used, and we screened 135 people, of which 20 of those participants scored less than 24. So when a person scores less than 24, we refer them or recommend that they follow up with their physician for additional supportive services. And I had mentioned the Memory Cafe. We offer 3 memory cafes per month, a hybrid version, a partnership with the Smithsonian Institute, and then an in-person version as well. And we have seen, I want to see that says 192, the little boxes are there, 192 participants in those programs. Okay, next slide. Okay, let's see. The nursing program. How can I forget the nursing program? The nursing program is vital to many of the residents that we serve. It truly provides people that in many instances do not have access to nursing services or family support to continue to age in place with access to programs and services they may or may not have had access to. Previously, for the last 5 years, the city received a grant from the Maryland Department of Aging to run a program which is called SAS. And that is our Senior Supportive Services Program. And for those years, this program was relegated to Greenridge House. But I'm pleased to say this year, we are going to be able to expand it into the community and serve residents that traditionally weren't able to be served under the auspices of congregate housing services. So this program will bring in-home supportive services such as housekeeping services, meal prep, bathing assistance, etc. It will bring meal services. It will also provide them with twice a year semi-annual cleaning services, of course case management, and then we're partnering that with our student nursing program to provide additional visits, all of this at no charge to Greenbelt residents. We continue our partnership with Catholic University and then now University of Maryland School of Nursing, the RN to BSN program, to continue visiting. Some of our more frail residents are seen by the RN to BSN program in the community. Developing community partnerships. One of the things that we're hoping to expand based on student nurse availability, we've had a request from the Transitional Housing Program at Franklin Park to begin participating with their residents within that program. And unfortunately but true, we are sort of limited to the number of students that are available in the nursing programs to enable us to expand services out into the community. They do require a nurse to be present to supervise the day-to-day interactions with the clients. The school does provide that, but in many instances, we found that our nurse, because of her experience, leads the team and troubleshoots the situations. And if the students find something of significance, then does the home visit to follow up. And we sort of connect and work with that client. So it truly is a learning experience for the students. But at the same time, one of the things I think that's imperative is that we are able to continue to link them because the students are here for a relatively short period of time. So we fill in the gaps. For example, during the summer, those people are still being seen by our community nursing program. One more slide, maybe? Yes, okay. So now we're going to move into the service coordination program at Greenridge House. Okay, ooh. I have to look at my paper because those colors don't necessarily work well. Okay, so for the MBOs for that particular program, Flora Lee and her team continue to, of course, provide the case management services for the residents of Greenridge House. This particular program is funded by HUD and has been funded for HUD for over a decade. We've been lucky for the continuity of funding, but it's exclusive to the residents of Greenridge House. We continue to partner with the Capital Area Food Bank, and in this instance, this fiscal year, well, last fiscal year, excuse me, they installed raised bed gardens for the residents to grow some of their own produce, which has been exciting. We continue to celebrate every year Older Americans Month with an array of programs and services, everything from providing health and wellness services and screenings to social events. We provided the frail and at-risk residents with home-delivered meals. I mentioned that earlier through the SAS program funded by the Maryland Department of Aging, and we continue to improve the weekly grocery distribution. We have a partnership with Giant Food, and they donate food program items to the residents at Greenridge House. So, next slide. We again participated in the Senior Market Nutrition Program, which provides voucher cards that our residents can use at the Greenbelt Farmers Market to obtain free produce, herbs, honey, etc. And we always and continue to host monthly insurance advisory table committee information sessions, for example, on Medicare during open enrollment season or during special enrollment season for the Advantage plans. And of course, we do our renter's tax credit. Every little bit helps. The residents of Greenridge House save money. And this year, this is a half-year figure because the fiscal year is a little bit different for the feds for this grant. But to date, year to date in the program, we have saved residents $97,012.17 by providing them access to free or discounted services. So I think that's my last slide.
So that is our presentation. Any questions about all the wonderful work you've heard about?
I just want to thank you for a very, very comprehensive overview of all the services that you provide. So by having this segment, both segments in a quarterly update, it helps council to get a better sense of the holistic array of services, not just us, but also the public. Because it's you do so many different things, it's kind of complicated. Questions? Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, not a question, just a comment. I appreciate how everybody's working together with, between code enforcement and the police crisis intervention team and the counselors you have. It's great to see how we can provide services, and when somebody needs help, get the help that they need.
Let's see, Councilmember, please.
Yeah, I just appreciate all the work you guys, I just really appreciate all the work you guys do. Our CARES department is envied by so many other municipalities in Prince George's County who really recognize how much more we're able to do for our residents through having this department. It's really work that's changing the lives of our residents every single day, and I can't say enough how important that is. The aging in place, many of us have friends here who are seniors that are really want to age in place here in Greenbelt, and if we say we want to help them do that, and you're actually making that a reality, which is really incredible. I think the work that Deji is doing with all of our students, particularly our GED program, is really inspiring. This is like things that change people's lives, and I think I love Deji's sort of open door policy. Like maybe you're here for a while and you're working on it and you complete one test, but then you've got a different job, you've got to do different things, but that they're always welcomed back so that they can achieve their goals. And I think that that's really important. And, sort of his recognition that different people, he's accepting people from all different phases of life, right? And it's great to see it. So
We've had seniors come to finish their GED. Yeah.
So it's
So
pretty
from young
incredible.
people to
You guys are
seniors,
just doing such great and inspiring work. So I'm always bragging about CARES and Gail and all the stuff you guys do. So thank you so much for.
Again, I think we all said, we really appreciate to work for a city that supports this level of care for their residents.
And honestly, when you look at the city's budget, I just feel like we get so much for the size of the budget that your department has. You provide so many services. You guys do so much for this community. So thank you so much.
Let me just check in with council members McKinney and Fritz. Do you have any questions or observations you'd like to share?
No, thank you. But thank you for everyone for coming in and for the updates.
Thank you.
Same. I just want to say thank you. I think this will be extremely helpful. I know in the upcoming fiscal year, we'll have some continued conversations, and I want to thank you all, plus the city manager, for bringing forth this type of information so that we can get it kind of earlier in the process to be able to have a much more informed discussion when we talk about ensuring that we're really pushing the programs forward and we can continue to sustain them. So I appreciate this. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And we have a couple of comments or questions from from folks that are here in the room. Mr. Orleans, I think you had your hand up first.
Thank you, Bill Orleans. I'm rarely in town or just leaving town during the distribution that takes place behind us in the parking lot. But I haven't at all participated since it was announced that one must get a card, obtain a card of some kind. And I'm just wondering if there are metrics with regard to distribution before the requirement of having that card and subsequent to having that card. And if I am in town tomorrow and want to get in line, where do I get my card? Because I could use some onions.
I'll let Crystal answer. Yeah, so it's the Capital Area Food Bank who requires us to do the card system so that they can better track. But then Crystal can tell you where, if
how
you come.
How easy is it to obtain the card?
Very easy.
Very easy. If you decide to attend a distribution tomorrow, you can get a card at the distribution, and then residents that are interested in any time can walk in and fill out a form and get a card and walk away with it at that time.
But you can do it on site.
I'm pleased to hear that it will be so easy if I'm able to make it tomorrow. For a while there, and I don't know if it's been resolved, there was a glitch with regard to the distribution at Spring Hill Lake. Has that been resolved?
So it was a lack of funding. We had a separate funding to be able to expand to offer those at Spring Hill Lake, and so Crystal, I think, mentioned that, again, there's been some ARPA dollars designated for that, but that is a separate distribution that requires separate funding.
I don't, maybe I should know, GCC presumably is Greenbelt Community Center. What is GFE?
Greenbelt, it's Ground 4 East.
Okay. And a couple of other initialisms I presumably should know. CIT, I thought was Crisis Intervention Team, but later in the presentation slides, I see it's listed as Crisis Interdisciplinary Team.
So there's two different ones. The
There are
Crisis
two
Intervention
CITs?
Team, which is with the police department, which is the social worker and her team. And then we also have the Crisis Interdisciplinary Team, which is the CIT social worker, Gale staff, code enforcement, and then some other community members who all meet together monthly.
May I respectfully ask that in the future presentations, CIT not just be referenced as CIT? I spent minutes briefing through here trying to find, and then I came across Crisis Interdisciplinary Team, and that was new to me. So in the future, could you specify which CIT is being
Sure,
referenced?
absolutely.
What is the transitional housing program in Spring Hill Lake? I've never heard of it before.
So that is through the county homeless services. So as folks are in shelter, the county offers up to 2 years in transitional housing, but you have to qualify into it. And so those are housed in Franklin Park. The county pays
DHCD
to have
does
so
that?
many
County
units in
DHCD?
Franklin Park. I'm sorry?
County DHCD does that?
Yes.
Or social services?
Social services.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
bear with me, sir, for just a second. There were I was asking questions and getting answers. I'd like to return to the numerical, the metrics page. Where was it? Okay. These pages are in numbers, but crisis support. Eviction relief requests is one thing. Eviction relief granted, 31. That's not the ARPA monies that.
No, that's the GILA fund.
That's from GILA exclusively. Do we have a breakdown, I've asked for this before, of all the ARPA monies that were utilized for purposes of eviction relief requests and then grants, those requests being granted? Do we have
I
a
believe
breakdown?
that's on the ARPA website.
I was actually asking about that earlier in the meeting. It's on, there's a separate website which has a spreadsheet which lists all of the funds and how they've been used and where they're at so far. And I was just asking earlier
Well,
if
for
it's been
those of us in
updated.
town who are interested but
Yeah,
not
thank you, thank you.
technologically
Mr.
able
Orleans?
to do so, is it possible that those metrics could be printed out
Mr.
and
Orleans?
presented at some time?
Mr. Orleans.
Whatever we have already can be printed. So just send me a request of what is it that you want.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Hartman?
Michael Hartman, G Court Garden. Dr. Park, you have a phenomenal team.
Yes, I do.
It's really nice. But I have a quick two questions. One, are you equipped to provide referrals for legal aid for residents, for seniors, et cetera?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Chair was holding me back. Yes, we do make referrals to legal aid services, typically depending on the nature of the service that they're in need of. There are free pro bono services that are offered throughout the county, but in some instances, the need of the client is beyond the scope. Prince George's County Bar Association has an attorney referral program also, where they can contact their office and go into more depth about their particular situation, and they can refer them to a provider in the county.
Okay, thank you. And one other question. Have you been active in helping federal employees who had been losing their jobs through your workforce development? Is it set up for that kind of a thing, or is that beyond the scope of your work?
So we usually tend to youth, so 18 through 24, but
Okay.
I know last year when that was really in effect, we did attend a few job fairs where EPG had, where they were more so catering to federal employees, but as that died down, in a sense, we don't see as much anymore. But yeah, we do We have helped out in the past with federal employees who have been laid off.
So you can still help someone?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Transitional housing, how many slots are available, or just overall, how many slots?
I do not know how many units they have.
Hey, once again, thank you for a beautifully comprehensive overview, and your slides are very attractive. And it's always the case. Very informative, very on point. Just one additional thing, just in terms of the investment that we make in these services, it really is a multiplier effect because you are so good at actually engaging interns and students from the universities and whatnot, and being really, really effective at helping them to learn on the one hand, but actually managing them very, very well, which is no small task. So I, for one, and I know all of council, just want to thank you for all the good work that you do. It's amazing.
Thank you.
There's no further questions or comments. I guess we can kind of wrap things up. We do have to go to an executive session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, no information items. I do want to thank the city manager for lowering the city flag over the last day in honor of former council member Merritt Gill Wiedenfeld. It's a very meaningful thing, and just the amount of time and effort that council members put into their work on behalf of the residents of the city. It's the least we can do. So thank you so much for making that happen.
Thank you for submitting the request.
If there are no other information items, Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, first we need to go into the special meeting.
Hereby call the special meeting of the Greenbelt City Council to order. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll for us, please?
Present.
Here.
Here. Here.
I'm here. Thank you so much.
Okay, I move that council go into closed session in accordance with section 3-305B1 and 8 of the General Provisions Article of the Annotated Code of the Public General Laws of Maryland. 1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, or any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. And 2, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. Will Mr. Martinez be joining us? Just you? Okay. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss, to address personnel matters over which this public body has jurisdiction, and to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. In addition to City Council, City Manager Cimarron will be present in the meeting. Note that Council will not return to open session following this closed session.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Pompey has seconded. If there's no discussion, let's go ahead and call the roll. Madam Clerk, please.
Yes.
Yes.
I think she said me. Yes, I'm here. Or yes.
Very faint.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. The time is 9:43. Let's go ahead and move into executive session. I guess we can take maybe a 4 or 5 minute break if anyone has things to take care of. I know I do.